Welcome to the Essential Skills for Humaning podcast, where we explore the fundamental abilities and insights that make us better humans. Here's your host, Christina Eanes.
Hi, everyone. Christina Eanes here. Thank you for joining us for this week's episode of the Essential Skills for Humaning podcast. Today, I have a co-host, Lori Muhlstein.
Hi.
You should know her voice if you've listened to past podcasts before. She co-hosted or guest hosted a few podcasts now. We thought we would enjoy each other's company for a podcast here.
Which we normally do. I mean,
Exactly.
We normally enjoy each other's company, so why not?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So today we are going to talk about a very interesting topic. Where are we going, Lori?
Well, so you and I had talked about coming up with some topics for our podcast. And I have to make a confession right off the bat. How the idea came to me. You know from knowing me that one of my guilty pleasures is Dancing with the Stars. I'm so entertained by it and just keeps my mind off of things, and I just love it. And so I was watching it this season, and it just dawned on me that the stars are not like the stars that I would normally think of, right? Movie stars, television stars, even, has been children's stars or, musicians or whatever. And what I noticed was that there have been a lot of people whose job titles are influencers. I mean, that's a thing, it's a real thing. People are making money off of it, millions of followers, etc. And I really thought about it. And I thought like, well, wow, you just kind of need a ring light and a computer and TikTok, and there you become famous and you get a spot on the dance floor. So as I've been watching it, the communications nerd in me asked the question of what makes these people, these influencers, actually influential, and how does that compare to what matters in our own lives at work relative to our powers of persuasion? So I thought that would be a topic that might be really interesting to unravel.
I love it. Yeah, because we teach influence. So I think that's awesome.
Yeah. So they lean heavily on their, the things that make them influential. So I was thinking about that, like, what would that be? And one thing obviously is likability, right? Like you have to be, people like these people or think that they're experts in a certain area or like they want to have what they have, right?
Yeah.
And so I was thinking of, the powers of persuasion that we talk about a lot in our classes. So I thought we could use that kind of as a jumping off point for influence, and how can we really kind of exert our power of influence better.
Yeah, I love it. Cialdini's principles of influence.
Yep.
It's like once you learn them, you see them everywhere. Yeah. Social proof.
Yep.
What are other people doing? You said likability. They use all of them, right? Expert.
Oh,
yeah, they're tapping into all of them.
Oh, yeah. And even like a lack of something, get this now before this runs out.
Yeah. Scarcity principle.
Yeah. The scarcity principle. So it just was really, really fascinating to me. And the thing is, are these people really experts? Are they?
That is something we could definitely go and debate on, right?
Yeah, right. I mean, you could definitely have a debate on that. So, so I just really thought about all the different principles and how they exert their influence and their persuasiveness over others.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That just reminds me of, I know one of the first things that we talk about in the class is we're going over how to influence others. And we hope you use your powers for good.
Right.
Yes. Because these are very powerful, right? And then we've seen people, I'm sure it's the same with influencers, right? Some of them are using their powers for good. They're actually trying to help people. So maybe they are becoming experts in the area and doing what they can. Others want fame and fortune. So they're doing whatever they need. Like, how many times have we seen the people are sneaking onto a private jet and taking photos and then running off, or security guards having to run off? Yeah.
So it's like, here's my best buddy. But, the other thing is I did a little bit more research on who influencers, who are some influencers.
Ooh.
And actually Brene Brown, who I love, has made her way into to the quote unquote influencer realm. But she's always been an influencer. I mean, at least to me, she has. I mean, her persuasion to me is the way she incorporates her experiences. Yeah. Which adds to her expertise and her. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, she's definitely using expert power, right? Because she's doing a lot of her own research.
Yep.
With her research team. Yeah. Ooh, so that kind of makes us, let's level set with, first of all, what are we considering an influencer for this conversation?
Well, I mean, if we look at this new job title, right? I mean, it goes the gamut from, how to dress and do makeup and things like that to really meaningful things. I mean, I said, Brene Brown, but I like to bring it back maybe to how do we take what we learned from our observations of these, influencers outside of work, and how do we take that into what that means for us in the workplace?
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So let's do it. Like I said, the whole social proof and the credibility, I think is something that we could definitely learn from and incorporate into maybe how we give feedback. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, so level setting with social proof, we're looking to others to figure out what behavior that we need to engage in. Right. And one of the stories that I love to tell with this one is I was in Penn Station in New York, waiting for a train. I wanted a salad for lunch. There's 3 places that offer salads. I walked around. 2 of them have maybe like 2 or 3 people in the store. One of them has a line out the door.
Right.
I knew this. I knew it at the time. But which one did I go to?
The long line.
The long line, because something must be awesome about it, right? There's a long line.
Right.
So that would be the best way we could explain. I know how to explain social proof.
I absolutely love that. Because then you say, well, what's wrong with the other 2?
Yeah, exactly.
Am I going to get salmonella?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so thinking about how can we intertwine that with our credibility and in the workplace without making ourselves the topic of conversation constantly.
Yeah. I personally think that empathy, if we want to tap into the whole emotional intelligence, empathy is really, really important. And I think that takes away from our ability to talk about ourselves, but really engage and listen to others.
Yeah. Yeah. The more that we are engaging and listening, hey, there's the likability principle too. We like people who actually listen to us. Yeah. And not that, let me tell you about my vacation. I recently went to blah, 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 blah. And this is what I did. No, like being fully focused and listening to that other person.
And that person, the person who really listens is the one that people really want to be around.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
They're the people at work that you're going to seek maybe not just advice, but hey, I have an issue. I need somebody to kind of listen and help me formulate a solution to that. And I think a leader in particular who is a great listener, who is empathetic, shows that social proof and creates the credibility that people want to follow them. I had this, I use this story a lot. I had a VP in a long time ago who I would have followed this person off of a bridge. You know, I would have, this person really listened. They wanted to know what you thought. And it wasn't fake. It was genuine. It authentic, was absolutely, it was totally authentic. And I think that, you know, just getting on this whole topic of, you know, credibility and influence, I think that would be somebody who I would definitely call an influencer.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know? Yeah.
Well, so listening is one of the top skills, right? We're building rapport. Have you ever had that conversation where really you're not speaking a lot, right? You're just listening and they think it's like the best conversation they've ever had. Right. And that is the power of listening. Ooh, let's bring in another principle here. I think that also is reciprocity. When we give the gift of our time and attention to someone else by just listening to them, right? They feel like they need to reciprocate. Human nature, we need to reciprocate in some way, not necessarily by listening, but by, oh, you know what? Hey, you spent a half hour listening to me talk through my issues. Let me give you a heads up on something that's coming down the pike that not everyone else knows about. That kind of thing.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
You know, so true. Because that's that human connection. It's, you know, anything we talk about, Chris, is about human connection.
Absolutely. Which are essential skills for humaning.
Indeed.
Connecting with others. You know, it's funny when I was younger, and being we both work with personality type assessments, very much the more the D than the I in DISC on, hey, let's get this done. Stop. We don't have time for small talk. Focus on the task. Get them done. Right. And then I realized, wait a minute. We get everything through our connection with others, right? The more that we connect with others, build those relationships, and essentially we're influencing them. We're getting more work done when we take the time to do that. And we're more fulfilled while we're doing it. I don't know.
What a concept.
I know.
You know, if you think about the times at work where you felt the most fulfilled, at least for me, it was around the people.
Yes.
It wasn't necessarily around the work.
Yeah.
Because the people made the work meaningful and purposeful.
Yeah. Well, in contrast to that, think about when we've loved the work, but we didn't have good relationships. It wasn't a good situation, even though we loved what we were doing. Yeah. I mean, I was in that situation. I loved what I was doing, but the relationships were very hard to form. It was just not an environment conducive to productive relationships. And even though I love the work, I ended up having to go. I tried to stick it out, but it's, you know, without those relationships.
Yeah, I was in the same situation where I really did love the work. But the relationships seemed toxic and I couldn't deal with it. So, you know, and that goes to persuasion, you know, that goes to influence.
Yep.
You know, so anyway, I loved this topic because it just made me think.
Oh, yeah. Well, and much like influencers, what I'm assuming, they know who their audience is. They know what makes them tick, what problems they have, and they are offering solutions for those pain points. So the more that we could do that in the workplace, like I remember I just had a conversation with one of my kids on, they're having trouble with a boss. And I'm like, even if you don't like them, think about what can I do to make my boss's day go a little bit more smoothly? And the purpose behind that was the more that we can focus on what they need and meet those needs, the more we're going to benefit from it, because it's going to be a better relationship. Hopefully I'm sharing that in the way that I'm intending to.
No, I totally got it. I mean, that is not, in my opinion, not manipulation whatsoever. It taps into so many things. It taps into maybe the boss, maybe what they need is somebody to say, hey, what can I do to make this better for you?
Yeah. Know the pain points.
Yeah.
And be the person who provides a solution for it.
Yeah.
Massive way to influence others.
Absolutely. And doesn't only make you feel better, it makes the other person feel better.
Exactly. Too. And we may not see an immediate return, but I can tell I've had that throughout my career. And I think it's got me in a lot of places that I wouldn't have had access to, or maybe even promoted sooner than I would have been had I not tried to be that type of influencer. Finding the pain point, bringing a solution.
Yeah. Well, my background is in sales. So we're kind of taught that.
Yes. I mean, influencing is all across the board, right?
Yep.
All across the board.
Yeah. Yep. So I don't know. I'll be looking at Dancing with the Stars next season and kind of maybe looking at it from a different
different perspective. Yeah. So there's so much we've already talked about that we could bring into the workplace, right? Number one, and I think this is the best human skill anyone can have, and also the one that most people suck at, listening. Yes. So we can listen more. We can make sure that we're building those relationships, because that taps into so many of the principles of influence. Mm-hmm. Other ones you think that we can provide the audience? Yeah.
I mean, empathy is definitely one of them, that comes obviously with listening, but, being empathetic to what's going on with somebody. I think when I also think about listening, I'm also thinking of reading the person's body language.
Yeah.
And how that can help you influence the other person. What do we say? We say it's not only about listening, hearing the words, but it's also knowing how they feel.
Yes.
Or at least calling to mind how they might feel about it.
Yeah. Which requires us to notice, right? Notice how the other person is coming across. Are they closed off? Are they open? Are they low energy? Are they excited and high energy? Are they smiling, but it doesn't reach their eyes? Yeah. So actually being present, putting away those distractions and noticing is huge. Yep. And the other thing, what you said too, I love about the empathy. And I think empathy gets a bad rap because I think a lot of people misunderstand it. It is really about understanding the other person's perspective, right? As well as their feelings. So their cognitive and affective stuff that's going on.
Absolutely.
A lot of people think, I'm trying to be empathetic, but they're not meeting expectations. Well, that doesn't mean that we don't hold them accountable, or we don't put boundaries up, for ourselves. Like, I'm not going to engage with you when you're yelling at me. We can still be empathetic. I understand you're upset.
Right. And
I'm not going to engage with you until you find a normal speaking voice. So let's take a break. Right. So we can very empathetically respond to something.
Right.
Yeah. Other thoughts on that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, when we talk about feedback, somebody's getting like angry or, starting to cry when you give them feedback, right? We've talked about this.
Yeah.
I still need to give you the feedback.
Yeah.
I still need to say this. Maybe it's my cue that I need to give you some time, or maybe the person just needs some more clarification.
Exactly.
So it doesn't mean you don't address the hard stuff.
Exactly.
It's just the way in which you do it.
The how.
And how the person understands it.
Absolutely. I see you're getting upset. I'm sharing this feedback because I really care about your success on this team.
Yep.
And I want to help you.
Yep.
Deliver the feedback.
And that's all it is. I mean, you're right. I think empathy does get a really bad rap because people think you're being too squishy.
Yes.
You're not being hard enough. and you're not addressing the hard stuff, but you are. And the way you want to address the hard stuff is to get the person to understand what you're trying to say.
Exactly.
And to either change something or move forward. So, yeah.
Exactly. Because if you're not being understood by the other person, if they're not receiving the message that we're trying to give them, it's not working.
No, and you can't persuade somebody, right?
Exactly.
There's no way that you can be persuasive or influence them if they don't understand what you're talking about.
Exactly. Ooh, so maybe empathy, not that we're doing this in a manipulative manner, but empathy is a way to open the door for someone to be prepared to be influenced.
Love it.
Because we're using our powers for good.
Right. Did you see Wicked 2 yet?
No, I haven't.
I haven't either. But it's Wicked for good.
Hey, there we go.
So
as with always, we want to use our powers for good, right?
Yep.
Because we want to human better.
Yep. Love it.
Yeah. Any final thoughts you have on this topic before we close it out?
I think if I really think about, if I think about the who we started talking about in the beginning and how we bring it to close with real world, air quotes for those of you who can't see me. I think the ideas that we hit upon, the whole empathy, relatability, we relate to each other, which brings us to trust, right? These are, I think, very common things between the quote unquote influencers. I don't want to say quote unquote because it's a real thing. It's a real thing.
Yeah.
Right? So between the influencers and how we bring it into our own experiences, being able to, the trust issue, credibility, listening, and adapting our communications, right?
Yes.
I think that's one of the things we talked about too.
I love it, which we will spend the next episode that we co-host together talking about adapting our communications.
Wow, what a segue.
Hey. All right, folks, thanks for listening today. We do have several courses in relation to what we were talking about today. Just go to eanestraining.com, check out the training catalog, and give us a call.
Thank you for tuning in to the Essential Skills for Humaning podcast. We hope you've gained valuable insights to enhance your journey as a human being. Remember, practice makes progress. Keep honing those essential skills, and until next time, keep being the best version of yourself. For more resources, visit eanestraining.com.